Hello. Hello, everyone. This is Sandy from Doux Designs. Not sure if I should say that again. It didn't look like it kicked in, so we'll say it one more time. Hi, everyone. This is Sandy from Doux Designs, and I am popping in tonight to play with the new stamps from Doux Designs. Honey. That's Gail trying to watch with us. Hi, Evelyn. I have decided to use the football player tonight. So I already have him cut out, so we won't have to wait for me to do that. Hi, Drea. Hey, hey. I won't I won't lie to you, my friends. I was playing in my journal and I almost lost track of time while I was watching Shark Week because, it's about to be on for real next week. Anyway, so I decided, at the last minute, of course, what I was going to do tonight, and that it's going to be okay. It's all going to be okay, because you know why? Because I can decide on the spot what I'm going to do from experience and history. So, yay! Hi, Janine. So tonight, I wanted to use this stencil. I really like it, and I really want us to build a background with the stencil. Only going to use the football tonight, although we could use the whistle and the sign and all the other good things, but I think tonight I'm just going to use the football. So I picked some scrap papers that I had lying around from making other cards. I have some little scraps here, and I thought that would be fun. Oh, wait. This one is actually... yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to play with them, but I guarantee you it's going to be fun. So I'm going to put those aside because we don't need them just yet. We will need them soon. Hi, Anne. Hi, Ellen. Go Fight Win. That's right. I know that it's so funny because the cheerleading in me definitely pops out when I'm doing stuff like this. I just think all the old cheers I used to do and stuff. This is my very old sticky mat. Probably needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but, whatever. Do we ever want to do the cleaning? No, that's not the fun part. The fun part is playing, which is what we're going to do tonight. So there is... I'm actually going to try watercolor paper tonight just because I thought it would be fun to see how it comes out. So we're going to do that first. Just in case it doesn't, we have to do it a second time. Hey... at least we'll have started rolling. Now, I contemplated different colors of footballs, but I couldn't decide on what color I wanted to do the gorilla because I ran out of time. So I'm going to let you guys pick the color of the gorilla, and I'm going to use every brownish color that I could find in my collection for the footballs. So we're going to do a variety of colors, and I thought, why not throw in this aged mahogany? Really, because it's kind of maroon-ish, and that was my colors in high school, so I feel a little inclined to do that one. What, babe? Nostalgic. That's a great word. Good job. So I'm going to be moving this stencil all around this background because I want them to be everywhere. Like, I want there to be not very much of the white showing. Hey, Mom. So I'm going to start with the lighter colors, and then I'm going to get darker. That way, if they overlap, it's okay. In the process, I'm going to have to probably clean off the stencil as we go along. So my quick and easy for that is, since I'm using distress oxides, is a couple of paper towels or napkins and some water, so I can play around with that. I also thought I have these texture things, if I can find them. You know, that's what happens when you're not when you haven't planned ahead. Oh yes, I found them. Woo woo. Okay. Can you tell I'm a little hyped today? Had to go back to work. I'm very tired, but I'm in the play around with all the cool stuff mood. So I know that these aren't really football textures, but I was thinking I would give my footballs some texture with maybe this one. So I have that out. So like with when I do Copics, you can put colorless blender on here and put texture in it. But we're using oxides tonight. So what I thought was I would try and put water on here and see if I could texture the footballs just a little bit. So we'll see how that works out. We don't know how it's going to be because I have not tested it. I need to move this over because it's definitely not in the right spot for me. There we go. It's a little bit crooked for y'all, but you get it. You'll be okay, right? It'll all be okay. All right, so I'm going to start off with a few of them in the lighter colors. So my guess is I'm going to start with Frayed Burlap because I think it's fairly light. If you guys haven't seen this tool we have in the shop, this is what we hold the oxides with when we color. The back will hold the lids or the next oxides you want to use, and it has a grip on the bottom so it holds my ink pad still, so I don't have to hold it with my other hand. When I'm crafting, I can just rub the brush on it and I'm good to go. So that is what this is off to the side. See? Just put your brush in it, rub it around a little bit. Everything falls off on your desk because my desk shakes. I didn't get the best desk ever. If you feel like your brush is big and you're going to go outside the lines, make sure that you tape that off. I was pretty sure I'm okay with not doing that, especially tonight, so I'm not going to do that. But if I was really concerned, I would put tape around it, but I think we'll be fine. Okay, so there's our first football. Yay! All right, next, I'm going to do some off the page just because I think it looks more like paper when you do that, like designed paper that got trimmed. So I'm going to give that impression. Some of it is going to be a little bit darker than others, and I'm okay with that. So here we go. Reagan, yours got mailed today, so you should have your football stuff very soon. Here we go. We'll put one here. Since we're using the same color, we don't have to clean it off, but once I switch colors, I may want to clean it off. So we are prepared for that. I love the size of these. They are just perfect. And there we go. All right, and now I think I'm going to do 4. So I'm going to do one, I think I'm going to do this one upside down. Because, you know, the balls spin when you throw them in the air, so they can be any way, any direction we want them to be. We could be offense or defense or go, 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 win, win, win. So much fun. So now we have 4 footballs. So now we're going to keep going because I have 5 colors pulled here. So my next one, and I'm just guessing because I'm not really sure that I know what colors these are off the top of my head. I don't know them as well as Copics, but I'm going to go with Vintage Photo next. So I'm going to do, I think, one right here. And this color is darker than the other, so I'm not going to clean the thing yet. I think I'm still okay. Some of my some of my pads are inkier than others, so maybe a little quicker. Some not so much. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit different color. I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to do one on this side. Right here. I have to move all my stuff so at least this outside part sticks to my sticky mat, and then I don't have to use my magnets, which I love not using my magnets. I don't know about you guys, but the magnets, they kind of scare me a little bit. I have these ones from the glass mat that I got, but they are so strong. Strong is the word I'm looking for. And I have had them snap on me, on my finger, and bruise it real bad. So I don't like to use them that much because they make me nervous. So far I haven't done any overlapping. I'm just filling in some of the areas, but we will be overlapping some here in just a little bit. I think I'm going to stick with 3 on that one. Hi, Nikki. Okay, next. Okay, so that's 2. So the next one I have Walnut Stain is the next one, and we'll just see how they match with the colors. I'm going to go ahead and clean it since I have 2 colors on there. It's super simple to do. I'm just going to spray it, and then I kind of sandwich it in this napkin, and then kind of just wipe it off. Want to make sure it's not wet, so I'm moving to the other side of the napkin to dry it off, and now we're ready to keep going. And we will do that a couple times, I'm sure. Alright, so I'm going to move this over so I can put my football right, I think I'm going to do it upside down one this time, right here. I want to do a few. So that one's, this one is Walnut Stain. Yeah, this one's pretty close to those other 2 colors, so probably won't do too many of this one. I really want a variety. That one looks a lot like the other one, only it has a little more red to it. I think I'll do one right here over top of the other ones. And maybe I'll just stick with 2 of this color. And I'm kind of going a little bit light over that so you can still kind of see the white just a little bit shine through. There we go. Nice. Okay. I lied. I'm going to do one more right here in this corner. I thought I was just going to do 2, but I think I'm going to do 3. Just a small one right here. I like this. I'm very happy with how it's coming out so far. There we go. Alright, we have 2 more colors and quite a bit of white space. So we want to fill in the rest of that white space. Now, ground espresso is going to be really dark. It's the darkest one. Then we're going to go to aged mahogany because I just want to put a little bit of that aged mahogany color on here because I think it'll be fun. Just cleaning my stencil again one more time. Alright, I think over here is where I want, move a little guy, it's not your turn yet. We're going to put one right here. Alright, here we go. So what do you guys think? Do you like this football background? I think it's really cool. I like it. I'm curious what you guys think and if you guys are excited about working with yours. Hopefully most of you have gotten yours, or it should be arriving any day now because everything got mailed out right away. Alright, let's see how this compares to the other colors. Excellent. It's significantly darker, so it works really well. So I am going to come over here and do this side with this color as well. I think if you start with the darker colors, it makes it easier to cover up. But I don't know, it might have looked cool with the lighter colors too. You never know. So I think I'm going to put one more. Probably going to do it right here in this big space that's open. I'm going to try not to cover too much of the white lines, you know, where you hold on to the football, this area right here, because I kind of like that showing. And really, you wouldn't be able to see if the football was thrown in front of these, you wouldn't be able to see those, so it's kind of good that it's getting covered up. But I don't want to cover them all up. All right, let's see. I like it. Now we're going to add in some of the mahogany, the aged mahogany color. I really like it how it is, but we're going to add a little bit of the aged mahogany for some fun. I want to make sure everything, since we're going to move it all around the sheet, I want to make sure everything, all the ink is removed off of both sides. Sometimes when they're wet and you lay it over that, it picks up some of the color. So I'm just making sure that the whole back side is cleaned off. There we go. All clean. All right. Now we're going to work on aged mahogany. Hey, Cheryl. You love the footballs? Me too, me too. So football was my favorite to cheer for, but we also cheered for basketball and volleyball and what else? Basketball, volleyball. We never did baseball, but we did do the other ones. So that was pretty fun. We definitely did boys and girls. Basketball, so we didn't leave our girls out. We cheered for the girls and the boys teams. Kept us super busy. Oh, that's nice, but I don't like it as much as I thought I was going to. So I'm only going to put a little bit of that on here. I think I'll fill in these spaces off to the edge. I like it. I just think it's lighter color than I thought it was going to be. And I should have done it probably before the last color. I think I'll put one more over here just so that it equalizes out the picture. But I don't want to put too much over the brown because you can totally see through it. It's just not as dark as I thought it was going to be, but I still think we're going to be okay. All right. And maybe just to keep it even, we'll cover that spot in the corner because it looks like it needs to be covered as well. And I think I'll turn it where you can see the white. I have a lot of ink on this brush, so I don't even need to dip it again. I think we're good. Oh, nice. Okay, I like it. I like it. Now I'm going to clean it. I'm going to clean the stencil so Dale doesn't have to do it for me tonight. Usually I just hand them to him or we run it over warm water and it cleans it all off. But tonight, since I have this, I've been cleaning in between stages, I can just clean the whole thing right now. So there we go. That's all done. Love the footballs. Do you guys like the footballs? Cheryl said we are baseball here. My son played football. Oh, I remember you saying you like the baseball. I remember that. All right, I'm gonna pick this up. I think I'm gonna use my tweezers, just because my fingernails just don't pick it up. But that ink sure did work really well on here. Now, I did say we were gonna try to texturize it a little bit. It might mess it up. I don't know. But I'm going to try it because I think it'll be fun. But I want to put away this stuff out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, I have this little piece, and this is watercolor paper. It probably would have worked better if I'd used it on hammer mill, but we'll see. I'm going to take I folded it in half, and I'm just going to wet this little area right here on this edge. So it's flat, and it's a small amount that I'm going to be messing with. So I'm going to start off with like the big football. I don't know, it's not really working. It's picking up the ink though. Maybe I just need to I'm going to do the whole thing. Here we go. I bet this is going to spread color all over the place. No, it didn't. It picks up the football though, so you could definitely do that. But I don't want to mess it up this too much, so I'm going to do all the sides, so all the sides got a chance. But it didn't quite come out the way I wanted. So I think it's because I used watercolor paper. But I like it the way it is. You can see a little bit, but not too much. It kind of lightened the football. It didn't leave the spots and texture like I really wanted it to. But I like it, and we didn't mess it up. So let's stick with that. Clearly, that doesn't work. So when I do laundry later, I'll throw that in, and we'll be good to go. You wipe off this desk so we don't have too much of a mess here. Alright, so there's our football background, and that really didn't take us very long to do. And now we're going to work on our little football player. So this is our player. He's going to go on the footballs, but we have to decide what colors do we want to make him. Should I go with the maroon burgundy colors, since that's what we have on the extra footballs? Ours were maroon and white were our colors. But I'm open to suggestions, so if you guys pop any suggestions in there, I'll be more than happy to consider any colors. You like it, Drea? I can see you doing it. I was away training for fun. I was. It was so great. Alright, let's get him in focus and make sure he's good. While I'm waiting to see if you guys want to suggest any colors, I'm going to go ahead and work on the gorilla and the football, and I will wait for you guys to tell me. I mean, we could go all out. Maroon, obviously. Obviously, you're with me on the maroon. The gorilla, I think, so we could have a black gorilla. I think I did the packaging in black, didn't I? So let's do a different color on the gorilla this time. Let's make him in a brownish color. So let's go with E49, 47, 44, and then from there I'll decide what I want to do with the rest of them. I don't know about you guys, but I like this part of his face to be a very light color. So I'm going to do it a little bit in skin tone-ish colors. So I'm going to add, I'll show you what I mean by that. Hold on one second. Let me grab these colors and then we'll go from there. Okay, so when I do skin tone, I like to use the E00 and the E11 and whatever. So we are totally going to use two of the skin tone colors. One for underneath, just to give them that flesh feel. And then we're going to mix the E11 with the E43 and the E41. And let's see. I'll show you in a swatch what that'll look like, and it'll help us decide what order to do it in. So I want it, I mean, he's alive, so we want him to look alive. So let's see if 43 is dark enough, or if 11 is darker, and that will make us, nope, see, we're good. E43, let's do 42 over the flesh tone. This is what's going to tone down that pink and make it look more natural. And then 41, we'll bring it in for a nice, clean, finished look. So we're going to use 43 as our shadow. Then we're going to do a little bit of the E11, and then we're going to finish it off with the 41 and 42. And that'll give us a little bit, you'll see, I'll show you. It sounds a little crazy, but when we put this color underneath, it's going to give that whole fleshy feel to him being like alive. So I'm going to do his hands. This is just like base coat when we do skin tone. That's all this is doing, is wetting the paper and putting a base coat on there. So I'm going to do just this part of his face. The rest of it will all be fur, and it will be in a different color. But this will give him less of a flat look. A little hard to see on camera. I hate when that happens. Let me see if I can tone down some of this light and maybe help you be able to see a little better that we have some skin tone color on there. So you can see it's that peachy color. All right, now we're going to go to E43. So this is where I'm going to put like shadow colors. It's going to be a little bit of that base shadow color. He's got the football in his hand, so he's going to need a little bit of shadow around where he's holding on to the football. We're going to put a little bit here where his hands meet, inside his hands. And then on his face, we're going to put it up here by this helmet. And then this one. And then right here around his nose, because his nose would be sticking out. And then I'm going to put a little bit underneath his chin. And we're just going to leave him like that for right now. I don't know why this is not. Can I zoom in more? Nope, that's all I can do. Let's see, if I hold it up, maybe you can see. Ah, there we go. See where the shadow areas are? I just wanted you to be able to see that. All right, there we go. Back in focus. Now we're going to use E11. The chat keeps disappearing. What is up with the chat? I will say that we've had thunder and scattered showers all day. So this is E11. It's going to start looking a little bit more like, are you trying to make him human? But we will dial that back with the next two colors. I don't like the chat disappearing. That makes me a little unhappy. And Dale left the room, so maybe he's checking that out. It's just your Facebook issues. Yeah, I have Facebook issues a lot. I'm going around the top, all of that area there, and then I'm just extending like from where I put that darkest color. I'm going to come up from the bottom here. I'm going to do this little center part right here a little bit, and then all in here, because this is the angry area on his face. Now we're going to switch to the E42. This one's going to bring it back to the brown color, and we're going to go over where we put the E11. And extend a little bit. we'll only leave the last color for the highlight. So a little highlight on his nose. So I left the tips of his nose undone. I'm going to go around his mouth and leave just a little bit on his mouth open for the last color. Right around his lips. And this will look so light when you add dark fur to him. There we go. We're going to extend here. Just kind of soften that look there. And I'll let you see that one up close too because it's changing so much as we go along. But here is kind of what we're getting at. It doesn't look like peachy skin, but it definitely gives it a little bit of a human feel. Okay, so the last color that we're going to use is E41, and that's where I'm going to touch it in the areas that I didn't put as much and I left a highlight area. So just kind of here, around his mouth, the tips of his fingers. There's a fuzzy on my paper. Don't like it when that happens. And then we have a very light fleshy tone. I like the fur to be significantly different than the face because it makes it really stand out. So for the face, for the fur, I decided with E49, E47, and E44. If we need to pull 43, we will, but I don't think that we will. We're going to make him pretty dark brown. I did quit seeing comments unless you guys got quiet, but that could be a possibility with the storms and such, so just letting you know. I'm going to go around the edge where the helmet is around his face. Be careful not to do here because that's the inside of the helmet, not the gorilla. So I'm going to do that whole inside fur right there in the dark color. Then I'm going to put just a few little brush strokes right there and a little bit building fur here. And then underneath here, I'm going to put that dark color. Now his neck is also going to be, because he is all fur, so I'm going to fill in some of that as well. And then for his arms, there are a lot of different directional fur going on here, so I'll show you what I do right up close to the sleeve, and then I'm going to follow these artist lines all the way around. I'm not going to touch those lines until we get to the next color. This color is so dark, we don't want to put too much of it on there. So up against the football and then towards that sleeve again. And then we're going to follow the same thing here, right? Following these artist drawn lines around the edges, keeping his fur going in that same direction. When we get around to here, we start moving that direction. A little bit here. And I kind of go all the way around. He has socks on, so we're not going to touch those. We're not going to touch his feet or anything. And then we're going to switch to the next one. Reagan says we're still here entranced with the coloring. Yay! Phyllis said hello. Hi, Phyllis. And Mom says we're having smoke in the air from fires in Canada. Supposed to keep the windows closed. Stay indoors. It smells smoky in the air. Oh, my. I'm sorry. That is a bummer. E47 is next. And E44, although it's dark brown, it's very, very light compared to the rest. So we're going to use the E44 as our highlight color. And this one, the E47, as like our true color. So we'll have a little bit more of this E47 going on than what we normally would. So I'm going to go in between. You guys know that technique, in between where I put all of the lines the last time. Keeping that fur going all the way around, in between where we put them before. Now, I am going to go around and kind of enhance these artist drawn lines just to show motion and such. And then I'm going to do this side, same thing. Definitely want to extend from how far you did the last one. So we're starting to build that in. This area right here shows a little muscle, so I'm going to color that in a little bit darker so it stays darker than the rest of the gorilla. Our last, you have to stay inside there too, Cheryl? Yeah, because you're in Canada. Yep. E44 is our last color. If you wanted to make him look a little more of the like tree brown, you could use E23 here and it would change the color. It wouldn't make him quite as brown, and it would be a really pretty color as well. So keep that in mind that you could totally use that color. I'm going to do this one back and forth in the shape of the arm. Then when I get to these last ones, I'm just going to meet them up. I'm going to soften anything I need to soften, but I'm okay with that looking very furry there. That's really the point. On this side, I'm just going in from each side, just filling in my empty spaces. And that gets me a gorilla. Now it's going to be time to color the rest of it. So let me hold him up so you can really see like his color. See, his color matches. You can still see a little fleshy in the lighter part, which I like. And once we do his eyes, it's really going to be cool. And his outfit, he'll look really good. I think we're going to give him blue eyes, just because that's what I'm feeling at the moment. I'm going to use B45. This is a really, really simple thing. I'm just going to go right along that line where the black is. I'm not even going to fill that whole inside there. You can if you want. Either way, it's totally fine because this side pretty much fills it all in. So you could fill it all in if you wanted to, but I like to just put that one line there. I did a second coat just to make it darker right up against his eye. And I'll show you a little up close. See how there's a little bit of white in that eye? I like that. I think it shows side eye. Stay in and be careful. It's bad here we live. It's about 1,000 miles. Oh my. Oh my. That was B45, by the way, if you guys wanted to know. Now, for my football, since I want my football to look a bit lighter brown, I'm going to use, I'm going to try and use some of the same colors we already used, but I'm going to introduce E39 and E29. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, we should do the white area. So I need C1 and the colorless blender. So I'm going to use C1 on this white area right here. Just going to put a little bit. You probably won't even be able to see it on camera, but I'm just going to put a little bit here, a little bit there, and then I'm going to blend it out with the colorless blender. Probably hard to see on camera, but you can see what I did, so you can try it at home. I'm going to grab the E29 for the football, and I'm going to do dark right up by his hand. I'm using a different color because I want you to be able to differentiate between the football and the gorilla fur. So that's why I chose to do a different color. You could do the football in the same color, but I want it to kind of stand out. Which is also why I chose 29 and 39, because they'll kind of brighten up that color a little bit and make that football stand out from his arm. So just using the colors to play to my benefit is what I'm doing. And then to finish it off, I'm going to use the E44. That way I keep with the same tone as the gorilla in a few places. I'm going to go over the whole thing because it changes the color, but still I have that reddish brown color. So that finishes my football. Now we're going to decide on our outfit, and the only colors I saw were maroon. So that is what we are going to go with. Let me see. Sometimes maroon is a little bit hard to make because the closest colors we have to a true maroon color are the R59 and the R56, which get us a fairly good maroon color, but there's a missing. I'll go to RV95 for my next one if I were going to do a 3 color, but this one is a little bit too light and I need a color between those two for a good maroon. So let me see. I'm going to try a few here to sort of test it out. That one's a little too light. That's RV34. Let's try E09. That's kind of the brownish color of, I might use that. What if we did R59 and then we did E09, which kind of makes it a little more red than the other color in maroon, but we used 56 over top of that and then extended. That would give us the mid-tone and the light tone. So I think this is the color I'm going to go with. I think throwing that E09 helps a lot. I think this is going to be it. Hey Beth, welcome. And then I'm homebound, can't go, only to my doctors that I worry for my family and my grandkids. I understand that completely. Welcome, Beth. We have this cute little guy we're coloring right here. And since the colors are maroon and white, sometimes we use silver, but I'm going to use white. So for the white part, I'm going to use C3, C1, and 0. And then we're going to make the pants and the shirt and the helmet all's going to be maroon. So all the accents will be white, like white socks. The shoes will be maroon. So I'm going to use the C3 to mark my white areas that I want. So I want this stripe on the helmet to be white. And then I want the sleeve, just so I have some places for the white. The collar. Then the socks. Not that having white socks and playing football makes any sense. But that is what we're going to do. I'm going to make the shoes burgundy. I'll make this stripe white. And then I think we'll just go with the white bottom of the shoes as well. I mean, I could just do them black or brown because that's what they're going to end up being. But we're going to make them white anyway. because he's just playing in play grass. They could also be green from being in the grass so much, but you know. This is him when he's posing for photos and not actually doing football, so his outfit's all clean and everything. You know, it's all about the story. It was the hardest part about our cheerleading uniforms were choosing the colors. Maroon and white. But what's the other color? Because most people have white or black included with their other two colors. So that makes it a little challenging. But that's okay. We got this. I'm going to use the colorless blender to kind of smooth out those colors and lighten it a little bit just so it stays more of a white than a gray. On his socks, on this socks as well, and the bottom of his shoe. And then we forgot his collar. C1, I'm back to C1 so I can extend that collar a little bit. And then the colorless blender to finish it off would be right around here. I would say right around his face, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling that, so I'm just going to make that the dark burgundy, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we go. Most of him is going to be in the burgundy color. I'm going to try to do lighter and darker for different areas to make it look a little different, but we'll see. Okay, so starting with E59. I mean, we could have gave him a white helmet, but too late, too late. So R59, I'm going to just do this inside of his helmet in the R59 so it stays fairly dark. I'm going to do right up next to his face. I noticed I missed a spot right there under his eye. That should have been the skin tone, so I'm going to use the E43 to fill that in briefly. There we go. And that fixes that. And then for his helmet, I'm going to do in this darkest color, like over his shoulder, and then towards the back of the helmet will be the darkest color. And for right now, I'm going to stop with just that on the helmet for now. If I have to go back in later and put some more, I will. But for now, I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay, for his shirt, we want to do whatever's up close to him in the dark color, because that's where all the shadow would be. And along this edge. And then underneath his chin, just like this. He's running, so I'm going to keep my brush strokes in that direction, like he's in movement. And then I'm going to come from this side and sort of do the same type of thing. Coming around this way just a little bit. I'm going to do these stripes a little bit longer and then just barely around the football. And then I'm going to do his shoulder. I'm going to do the darker color coming from here because he could potentially have some darker color there, a little bit around the outside, but not too much, just a teeny bit. And then I want his pants to be the same color, so I'm going to start with them. This back part right here is going to be really dark, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. And then I'm going to do kind of around his shoulder pads, so they stay fairly dark. Underneath his leg and up here. And then around his shoulder pads again. I mean his knee pads, shoulder pads. Oh my goodness. Underneath his waistline. And then his shoes, I'm going to put it right up against that sole area. Is going to have this darkest color. Right there up against that sole. And for this shoe where he's running, I'm going to put it on the back as well. And then for this shoe that's pointed down, I'm going to put a little bit on that part. And then I'm going to move on. Oops, there you go. You said still tired? Yes, I'm still tired. Is that what were you asking me? If I was still tired? Yes, I'm still tired, but I live tired, so that's okay. All right, E09. This is going to change the color, but don't freak out. We're going to fix it, I promise. Hey, Patty. Just in time to hear that. This is going to change the color from the standard burgundy, but don't worry. It'll look a little more brown, but we'll get that burgundy color back with the 56. So I'm going to go around the outside here. And then I'm going to do this side. Not all of it, but just around the outside, leaving an open spot in the center. Oh, on camera it doesn't look quite too bad, but it really is more brown than burgundy. It's missing that little bit of red to it. So we'll get that back with the next color. But since we only have 3 colors, we got to fill in a lot of it with this color. I'm going to keep following this same motion that we did before. Just extending it out a little bit further. I'll go this way as well. And since we use this color for around the outside, I'm going to go all the way around the bottom and then make sure I at least go around that collar. And then for this one, I'm going to do around the edge of that. I'm going to come down a little bit from the waist. I'm going to do the whole center part here, all the way up to that knee pad, all underneath that knee pad, over here, up from the knee, and then I'm going to do right from where the artist drawn lines are, I'm going to add a little bit on each side of those, but I'm not going to close it in. I want it to look, I don't want it to look solid. Then for here, I'm going to go around the top of the shoe and then just extending a little bit from the burgundy. Not really going to worry about all those shoelaces and stuff. That's not really the focus part of this image, so I'm not going to do that. So now we have this brownish, and let me show you what that looks like up close. We have this little bit of a brownish color versus a maroon color, and I really want it to be maroon, so we're going to go back to this 56, which is going to bring our maroon color out. And then if we need to, we'll add another lighter reddish color if this doesn't come out maroon, but I think it's going to be fine. So we have to go over the last color, so I'm just going to do that back and forth real quick. Back and forth and back and forth. And then we're going to need a second coat because it's not dark enough. So I'm going to keep going. And once I finish this side, I'm going to go back and go over the other side. So I can really deepen this up. If we need to add more 59, we can do so. But I want to deepen this up to really, really burgundy. And that looks a lot better than the other color did. There we go. And I'm going to hold it up so you can see. Look at how much more maroon that looks than that. So we're going to get our maroon color. It's just going to take us a bit to get there. And that's okay. That's just mixing the colors to get what we want. Calling knee pads, shoulder pads, LOL. You must still be tired. Yes, I am. Susie said, anybody not tired? And the helmet color is awesome. Well, his whole outfit's going to have that color. He is going to be in maroon all over the place. So again, like we said before, I'm going to put the color in there once, and then we're going to go back and make it more maroon. Now, at the end, I may come back in with the with the R59 to really deepen up that shadow area again. But for right now, we're going to focus on turning this color to maroon. So I'm going to come back over here and do his arm again. This is just a second coat to really deepen up that maroon color. Notice I'm still following the same direction I did originally. Let's go ahead and do that piece. We gotta get that center part colored in. So we got a really good maroon color going. All right, here we go. I'm going to want those knee pads and thigh pads, or whatever you want to call all of these pads they wear, lighter. So I'm going to use the colorless blender for that, and I'll show that to you in a few minutes. And that's why we didn't fill those knee pads in. Let's finish the shoes. And then I'm going to go back over this again. It kind of serves, because we had to go over it a second time, it kind of made it all look one color. So we're going to go back over it with that R59 to deepen the color and give us those shadows back that we lost. So I'm going to do the shadow colors again with my R59. If we need to blend out with this, we'll use the 56. We won't use the E09 again. It served its purpose, and that's what we wanted. I'm just going to put this in the shadow areas. And then we'll blend out from there. This is just deepening that color because we lost some of it mixing the colors. We want to put some more back on this leg, knee pad, whatever you want to call it. Shoulder pad, knee pad. I want to darken those up a little bit. I'm also going to darken some of the shoe areas just to give us a little bit of variety there on our shoes as well. And this one, don't forget this one, don't forget this one. Alright, now I'm going to come back with the 56 and soften my lines. And then we should be good. So here we go. Just softening those lines now. And look, that worked really nicely. We don't even have to do that much. We're just softening those edges so they don't look funny. And it leaves us the shadow again that we were looking for earlier. Perfect. I'm loving it. Hope you guys are liking it too. I am going to put a little bit more here just to deepen that up. And then we're going to do right around here. And then we'll use the colorless blender to lighten these up a little bit. There we go. Alright, so with the colorless blender, and you don't want to do this too much. Yes, he is muscular. You don't want to do this too much because you'll wash out the color too much, but I'm just going to do like a quick little once over the areas I want to lighten. And then I'm going to wipe them off on here since I picked up, see, I picked up some pink. See how I picked up some pink? I just don't want to leave that on my pen. But that kind of lightened up his knee pads and such, so you can see how that works. When I hold it up so you guys can see it, I see one spot missed, which is right there. And I'm going to go back and fix that real quick with my 56. It's just one little spot right there. I just want to get that covered, and that brings us to a very nice maroon color for our little guy. And look, he even matches our maroon color on here. So perfect. That worked out very nicely. I'm going to turn that light away a little bit more so you can really see what we're looking at. Okay, now the card base stuff that I chose, and I haven't decided how we're going to lay this out because I just realized there was some green paper on here. So let me zoom out so you can see everything. There's our little guy. I also have grass, which I think is really cool, and I may have some more of that. Right here I have a whole bunch of scraps. Oh, there's a nice one right there too. That would depend on whether I want him to be on the card like this or on the card like this. Or do I want him to be like this? I kind of like him like this with that like yard line, because you know they're always trying to run to the yard line. I like that. So I think we're going to use that. I need to trim this down just a little bit because I don't want it quite that big. So I'm going to trim that down. And that will bring it about where I want it to be. It's a little bit bigger because I also thought I had some extra football. This is the one that has the texture in it, and I thought it would look really good as a border to the outside of this. So I'm going to use that, but I am going to have to cut this down, I think, to match my background. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on it. I'll glue it down, and then when I pick up the piece, I'll trim off the edge, if that makes sense. You'll know what I mean. I'm going to lay this on here, right on the edge. Sometimes when I'm doing the edges like that, I just pick it up, set it on the table, and push both pieces down so I know it lines up here. And I'll do it on this side. And then whatever's left over here is what I'm going to trim off. That just makes it easier than trying to measure it exactly right. I mean, that's the quick and easy method to that. Now I'm going to put this whole piece on top of here. It's a little thicker because it's watercolor paper, so that's kind of nice. And it will fit right on top of this piece. I'm going to pick it up real quick and slide just a tad so I can make sure I have it evened out. It's going to let me slide it around a little bit on this glossy paper, which is why I love this paper so much. Gives you a little bit of forgiving room to move around. I love that. But once it grips, that's it. You're done. It's where it is, and no exceptions. I'm going to use a green card base. I thought about white, but then I was like, I don't know. So let's look, because I was kind of thinking green would be better, but now that I mentioned it, I think white might look really good too. So let me see if I have a white card base here in my bucket of card bases. I do. Oh, I do, but it's not scored. So I shall score it quickly so we can look at it and see what we think. I love having my tools handy. Let's burnish this one real quick and then we'll see what we think. I think the white's going to look better. I think it's just going to make the footballs pop more. Don't you think? It's that one or this one. I just like the white better, I think. So I'm going to roll with the white. I think the white is the best. It helps make the yard line and the parts of the football and all that stuff stand out just a little bit more. So, and I think it'll help with his white on the burgundy or on the maroon outfit as well. So I think that'll be really good. I like your little dancing one. You guys like the white better too, huh? Yay! Okay, that fits on there nicely. Just gonna rub it with this tool. If you don't have a tool like this, you probably need to get one. They're freaking amazing. Alright, I'm going to stamp the back that says I made it, just because, you know, you want people to know if you did the work. Oh, I love this background, you guys. I had pulled some of these in case I wanted to put them on there, but I really don't think it needs it. So I will put them back inside my package so I can use them later on something else. Although, hey honey, do you know where my stamp sets are? Because they are not over here. Did you use them when you had them? Put them up here? Oh, I found it. Okay, because I need a sentiment. I think, oh, touchdown. You should put touchdown on there, don't you think? We could do pass a party, or MVP. But I think I'm going to use the touchdown. I like touchdown. And then you could use it, you could stamp the inside like happy birthday or, you know, cheering for you or whatever you want you could do. You could do after you have the word touchdown on the front. So you could really use it for anything that you want. This was our scrap paper we made swatches on. I'm just going to stamp on this and cut this paper out so I don't waste it. I want it to really stand out, so I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair. So it'll really, oh, you know what? I might have a burgundy one. Hold on. Hold up. I think I have a burgundy VersaFine Clair. I always forget I bought a few of these. Oh, like this one. It doesn't look exactly like the outside package, so, but we'll test it out first. But I think that is the one that I'm going to use. So we will stamp it. I think it's going to be perfect, actually. Right here. Oh, yeah. See? Perfect. It's called Chianti. C-H-I-A-N-T-I. Chianti color. But it looks burgundy to me. Maroon, burgundy, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut this freehand. I know, it's crazy. but I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. And then I'm going to trim this top part because it's not straight and I need it to be straight. There we go. And then the edge. I tell you, when I used to do this a long time ago, when I first started fussy cutting stuff, like just randomly freehand cutting, I used to cut and then it'd be crooked and I cut a little more and cut a little more, and then eventually I didn't have enough space anymore. But that doesn't happen so much anymore. I do have this off just a little bit right here still, so I'm going to trim that to match up. There we go. And then I think what I'm going to do is put a color behind that. So I'm just going to grab my paper pad again. I'm sure that we have either football or, yeah, see? We have the little football color. So I could put this on that, and then then we'll have a border around our sentiment, which I like. So I'm going to stick that on there. I'm going to scoot it more towards the top and then just trim the bottom edge off because it's not really straight on the bottom. And it's a little bit thicker, so we're just going to freehand it. I'm going to do the same thing on the side. And there we go. Perfecto! And then we're going to pop this up because why not? Right? We have lots of little pieces that I have, pop-up pieces that I have left over that I can use. Let's use some of these tinier pieces, like this one, and this one, and this one. See, that will fit perfectly. I'll just trim this off. I love using the scraps sometimes, especially scrap foam tape, because nobody wants to waste foam tape. And then that little piece I cut off will go on here. Right here. We have a little open spot right there, but it's not gonna, you're not gonna be able to tell. So, I always do the test of does it sink down. If it sinks down, it needs another piece of foam tape, but if it doesn't, we're good to go. So I'm going to stick that right there. Feel like that's pretty straight right there. And then we got to put our guy on there. And I so wish I had little football bling, but I don't. So we're not going to put any bling on it because this will probably go to a guy. And I just don't tend to put bling on the football field. I am going to add a little bit of white gel pen, but I wanted to get him on the card first. So we'll do that. That will be our last step. Hopefully you guys have received your set, and if you haven't, you'll go out and visit the shop. It is 15% off if you buy the bundle. And I believe with the 15% off, the bundle is only $45, so it's not too shabby. If you spend $75, your shipping is free. So there's lots of bling and other things you can pick up out there. And that would be fantastico for you. And then you can color with me because we'll be using these images for a little while. I'm going to add just a little bit like up here on his helmet, kind of because it's all the burgundy and I wanted you to be able to see some of the other color. I'm going to do his little eyes. And just to make it super fun, I'm going to add like a second dot on there because that makes it just even better. And then we're going to put a little bit on his little shoulder pads here. We'll put a little on his knee pad, maybe here, so it looks, so you can see his little shoes. And then I think I'll put a little here just so that stands out a little bit more. And then I think we are good to go. So let me show that to you up close. And then if you guys are not busy later and want to craft more than just this video, I will be over on Happy Crafty Ho-Ho's channel doing some more crafty funness. He's super cute, isn't he? He turned out so good, and he matches the background. I'm very happy with how he came out. You wish it was that cheap for you? I know. I wish it was too. You save all your foam tape, Mom. I know. It's awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys like it. This was really fun. I really like it. I think I'm going to build a basketball background and a baseball background. I mean, that stencil goes a long way because you can do so many things with it. And I just think, oh, we could even do it with the cheerleader and all the fun stuff. So for tonight, I'm going to say goodnight, but I will be back again on Thursday at 8 Central.
Today is Thursday.
Oh my gosh, today is Thursday. I have lost half of my week traveling to, I have been in the past 48 hours in 3 states. So I will be back again next week on Tuesday and Thursday at 8 Central. You can usually find me over at Happy Crafty Ho-Ho on the other nights of the week at the Late Night Crew. And we are working on some future stuff on YouTube. So if you're not on our YouTube, you want to go ahead and subscribe now so you won't miss anything when we start doing our stuff on YouTube. Instagram, I only have 972 followers. I say only, that seems like none. But I am 28 away from 1,000, and I can go live on Instagram once I have hit 1,000 followers. So please come over, follow me on Instagram. I would love it so much. And that's all I got. I did go to see Drea. I did. And I went to HSN. I was on HSN on Tuesday with Drea and with Shalana and with Tamara and Melissa, and all of us got to craft on HSN, and it was so fun. Yes, Reagan, I'm almost there. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube as a replay, please like and subscribe. Commenting helps as well. So thank you so much for watching. See you guys later. Good night.